I checked the camera one last time before going to sleep. I do that every night, just a quick glance, just to be sure. The feed loaded slowly, the familiar grainy image of my backyard appearing on my phone. The fence was still. The tree barely moved in the wind. The patio lights cast long, empty shadows across the grass. Nothing unusual. That should have been enough. It usually is. I set my phone down on the nightstand and turned off the lamp. The room went dark, except for the faint glow of the screen as it locked itself. I closed my eyes. That's when the notification buzzed. Camera motion detected. I sighed, already annoyed. It was probably a branch, or a fox, or nothing at all. There was always something triggering it at night. I picked up the phone again. The feed refreshed. At first, I didn't see what had changed. Then I noticed the shadow. It was new, long and narrow, stretching across the grass from the edge of the frame. It didn't belong to the tree. It didn't match the fence or the shed. I adjusted the brightness. A man stood just outside the camera's view, only part of him visible. One shoulder, the side of his head, enough to know he was there, facing the house. I held my breath, waiting for him to move. He didn't. The timestamp ticked forward. The feed was live. This wasn't a still image. I told myself he'd step into view any second, that he'd realize the camera was there and walk away, that this was just an awkward, explainable moment. Seconds passed. He stayed exactly where he was. I locked the screen and placed the phone face down on the nightstand. My heart was beating faster now, the silence in the room suddenly too loud. I stared at the ceiling, counting my breaths. After a minute, I turned the phone over again. The man was fully in frame now. He stood in the center of the yard, closer to the house than before, close enough that I could make out the shape of his coat. His hands hung loosely at his sides. His face was pointed directly at the camera. I didn't remember seeing him walk. I watched the replay, the last 30 seconds, then the minute before that. There was no footage of him entering the yard. One moment, the yard was empty. The next, he was standing there. My thumb hovered over the option to call the police. I didn't press it. I didn't know what I'd say. There's a man in my yard, but only sometimes. Instead, I watched. I don't know how long I stared at that screen. My eyes started to ache. The image blurred slightly as I blinked. When my vision cleared, my stomach dropped. He was closer, not dramatically, not rushing toward the house, just closer than before. I checked the timestamp again. Still live, still normal. I stared without blinking, my eyes burning, my chest tight. He didn't move. The moment I blinked, he advanced. It was subtle, a half step, a shift in distance so small it felt like my mind was playing tricks on me. But it happened again and again. Each blink brought him closer. I lowered the phone slightly, watching the feed from the corner of my eye. I blinked on purpose this time. He moved. I felt cold all over. I didn't scream. I didn't run. I didn't call anyone. I just sat there testing it. Blink, closer, blink, closer. If this story is making your skin crawl, you can leave a like. It helps more than you think. I stopped blinking. Tears streamed down my face, my eyes screaming for relief, but the man didn't move. He stayed exactly where he was. That's when I noticed something else. The camera angle. It was wrong. The image tilted slightly, as if the camera had been touched. The next blink wasn't mine. The feed stuttered, just for a frame. And in that frame, the camera was lower, closer to the ground, pointing up, as if someone had adjusted it. I didn't blink. The man was gone. My heart jumped with sudden, dizzy relief. I scanned the yard, the corners of the frame, the shadows near the fence. Empty. Then the feed switched. No warning, no loading screen. My hallway. The camera angle was low, like it was being held. The feed moved forward slightly, smoothly, carefully. Someone was walking toward my bedroom. I stayed perfectly still, staring at the screen, my eyes dry and burning. The doorknob in the video turned. The door opened. The camera stopped. The feed froze on a single frame. My bedroom, my bed, me, lying perfectly still, eyes wide open, staring at the phone in my hand. Behind me, in the reflection of the dark window, something stood. I didn't blink. The screen went black. The room around me felt wrong. Too quiet, too close. I slowly lowered the phone and stared into the darkness, because now I understood. The camera wasn't warning me. It was teaching him. And the moment I finally blink, he won't need it anymore.